Hey guys, how's it going? Good evening. We're here in the city running errands right now, but I wanted to hop on and record a quick video for you guys, share some messages that have been coming through for me, and take these messages as they will. They are related to time in a way. However, if the messages resonate with you, could be literal, could be metaphorical, just take what resonates. So there is a lot of energy circulating around the collective right now, specifically in regards to shadow work and karma. The divine feminine is actually being encouraged to sort of step into our shadow aspects, the shadow aspects of our feminine energy, our masculine energy, but to also step into these elements that we've been kind of suppressing within ourselves, maybe elements that we thought we've transgressed past, potentially in an upbringing in a past life. Take that as you will. So we are really being called to step forward as divine feminines to heal this element of our own self, our triggers, which is no longer serving us. Now, the masculine energy is still working on shadow work as well, but they're also stepping into their light at this time. So in order to balance the polarities, now we're talking about energies here, so those who have been sort of living and anchoring into a very sort of, I'm hearing toxic masculine, but very shadowy, dark energy for the last few years, giving into addictions, giving into toxicity, however you identify, you've been giving into that sort of energy, right? An energy that is shadowy. At this time, you're going to be called and sort of ushered into embracing your light. And a lot of that looks like really seeing the bigger picture, having these sort of personalized epiphanies for your journey that's going to connect you to this element of like you wanting to connect more with your higher self, being a better person. Whereas the opposite energy, for those of you who have been really anchored in your light energy, you have a sense of, we'll say, morality, values in a way, you're going to be called to actually take that and still connect with it. It's a sense of embodiment, but at the same time, really connect with that shadow aspect of yourself. When I mean connect, I'm not talking about embracing addictions. I'm not talking about embracing aspects of you that are just no longer serving you. What I'm talking about is actually looking deeper. It's sort of like looking deeper within yourself to identify where the triggers have been, where certain shadow elements of your being have held you back. So we're going to be called to get deeper at this time in all aspects, whether light or dark, right? Whether yin or yang, it's a call for us to step into our authentic self. So, and I obviously want to apologize for the background noise. I'm in the city, but hopefully you can feel that buzzing energy around. But yeah, so we're going to be called to also show our faces more, show up more in the way that we need to for our journeys. It's really about taking accountability at this time, but because of the astrological things that are going on, we've got an eclipse, we just had a Scorpio new moon pass, Scorpio season is about to start, the planet of Mars, which majority rules the energy of like aggression and how we deal with like anger or like resistant energy, is in the sign of Gemini, which at the end of October, like Halloween weekend, literally, it's going to be going retrograde until January 2023. And Gemini is known to be a sign that carries that twin frequency within it. So it has the split energy, right? You can think of like the split. So we all have our own astrology sort of sun signs in the rest of our chart, but Gemini, that sign carries both personalities, and that's why people often tend to judge Geminis before they get to know them, because they believe that they're like bipolar, they have this like sort of split energy, they can change their mind quickly, but they're one of the wisest in the zodiac. So my point in saying this is that the planet Mars being in the sign of Gemini going retrograde at the end of October is actually indicative of these sort of fluctuation in world events that's going to happen. So for example, I talked recently on my page, Door to Value, on a live and on School of the Ascending, about how there's going to be more truth revealed, more justice will be prevailed. What we're seeing right now is that Mars energy and the eclipse energy ushering the truth to the surface. New York, the state of New York actually it was actually the New York Supreme Court just initiated a call for all the people who got fired for not being vaccinated, essentially, to have a back pay, and to also like for the people to recognize this in the city of New York, regardless of what their views have been in the last 2 years, to also, like justice is served, essentially, is what I'm hearing. To also like recognize that the vaccine does not prevent transmission. You can still get COVID whether you're vaccinated or not. So there's justice being served. New York is setting the example right now. This is what I posted on my page a few weeks ago about justice being served, that it will prevail. And then this is kind of what we're seeing unfold in certain areas. And this is what that Mars retrograde in Gemini energy will bring to the forefront. But in a personal lives, you know, if we're going to scale from the system down, we're going to see that affect maybe our energy, the people around us, depending on what sign you are or where you're at in your life. It's going to affect each of us in different ways, but all very intricately the same, meaning that you're going to notice that there's a fluctuation. You're going to notice that one minute you're going to be angry about something, and maybe a few hours later you're going to realize that sense of accountability energy that you're being called to step forward into. And sorry if my nose is running, by the way. It's cold, and this is just what happens for me when I'm out and about. But yeah, so just wanted to share this message. I think it's very important at this time to remember that if you are on the path of ascension, you are awakened, you're awakening, or you're ascending, that you are being called to really remember that there's not a one-size-fits-all model in this journey. So there's just the recognition that we are here to elevate ourselves and be real with ourselves, be authentic, and how that might look like for you is going to be different than the next person and the next person. So just remember to carry that sense of humility within your own journey, that sense of compassion within what you're experiencing, and recognize that, again, this journey is not a one-size-fits-all model. There are certain characteristics that you might experience similar to others, and this is just a normal facet of like sharing a collective consciousness, being on the planet together. I always say we're not a one-person planet. There's 8 billion people here, so like obviously we're going to experience very similar things, but at the same time we need to recognize that there is no rule book to this journey. We're finding out the rules, quote unquote, by sharing our stories, our experiences together, going through the experience, and then because of energy, by virtue of how the energy works, finding people that relate to us along the way that have gone through similar feats. So there's a lot of things that are coming through. A lot of shadow is really getting released. Dark, I'm hearing dark nights of the soul, tower moments, and I've said this before in a recent live around the effect that this will cause on the world stage, the effect that this will cause in Scorpio, in Sagittarius season. So for the next 2 months on planet Earth specifically, justice will be served on a personal level, but also systematically. And it's not like the whole world is going to change by the come of 2023, but a lot, my third eye is actually getting really hot right now, and it's like buzzing, but a lot will be revealed. A lot will be revealed. So it's actually really exciting that this is happening at this time. Kind of scary sometimes because you're like, what the heck am I going to be doing? What am I going through? But just recognize that you're really not alone in the physical, but also behind the veil, and that there's going to be more truth that's going to get revealed about what you know about yourself, but also those around you in the world. And lastly, I'll say, again, this is not a one-size-fits-all model in this journey. Like, there is no one-size-fits-all in anything in life, and that's what you'll find, because like, even though a lot of us have grown up in that very particular educational system where they tell you like to go to school, to get a job, to work for someone else for the rest of your life, the rest of your life doesn't look like that. And most of you who are connected with me are obviously adults and have learned that. So most of you are in different generations. I've got baby boomers, I've got the hippie eras, I've got the Gen Zs and the Gen Xs, like everyone, millennials, of course, I'm a millennial, so we all have different generations that is connected with me. And I know for a fact that each of us have realized at some point into adulthood that it's not a one-size-fits-all model, that life is actually a lot more different than what it was made out to be. So this is the same concept with anything in life, with awakening and ascending. Lastly, I want to just say discernment is huge at this time. Discern everything. I'm not just talking about in spirituality and what you're learning. It's about discerning the information that you hear from other people. If you're at a party or pregame and you're hearing people talk about other people, like you don't know the full story, or they're gossiping to you and you don't know how to react in that situation, or you're just tuning in, you're just there, like you're just there. Just discern everything and remember that like everything you hear, you have to remember is only a fractal piece of the full puzzle, okay? So because of that, you need to remember that you have a right to discern your specific truth around that message, around what you are hearing or receiving in your reality. But at the same time, you have to remember that, again, everything we're hearing on a daily basis that we're seeing is only not even a fractal, it's like a piece of the fractals of the entire picture. And so this is your reality. You can create what you want, you can discern what you want, but don't get lost in the popularity, in the quantity, the number of followers, the people, that it's like you have to discern, okay? You have to discern what is being presented to you, what is being shown to you, and figure out, is this truly in resonance and in alignment with my core values and who I am? And the thing is that we're always changing, right? We're always evolving. So who you are could be changing at any point in time. It's going to switch up. Just recognize that you have the right to sort of change and switch things. Our truth is always evolving as we are. So I just wanted to share that quick message. 10 minutes on the clock here. I send you all so much love. Hang in there. I'll be back with a couple more channeled messages this coming week. And if you'd like to book a psychic reading with me, you can do so by going to my main Instagram page, Door to Value. Click the link in my bio. I send you so much love.